Okay, and we are live. Welcome everyone to another episode of On Air with Krissy. I am your host, Krissy Ferreira, business mentor. I am the woman that you're going to go to when you're ready to turn your side hustle into a six-figure brand. Now, this show is geared all around bringing six-figure, seven-figure business experts to bring you different levels of expertise in different areas. The one thing that's really special about #On Air with Krissy is that I have vetted every single person that joins the show. I don't just let anyone join this show just because they call themselves an expert. I know these women. Maybe we're going to bring on some men in the future. We shall see. But I know these ladies. I'm friends with these ladies. I've had conversations with these ladies. I know their clients, and I've either paid to work with them or I've been in their communities. And what's really exciting about the women that I bring on here is they all have different backgrounds. We love to keep the show very diverse. So we love to bring in different level people from different backgrounds, not just the corporate world. I like to bring women who, maybe started their business from complete scratch, never thought about launching a business, and now they're running a business, or women who've known for their entire lives that they were born entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited to bring in the diversity of different women in this on this show. If you're watching me live, let us know that you're watching us live in the comments. One thing I always say about this show is utilize this platform to promote your business. This is going to be shared on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and my soon-to-come podcast series that's coming very, very shortly. So utilize this platform to promote yourself. Tell us what you do. Interact with us. If you want to ask us questions, use this opportunity, because Natalie is definitely, I have Natalie today on the show, and, you can't always just get into her DM and ask her questions. So utilize this time to ask her the questions that you have, and definitely engage, because we want to hear you guys' feedback, where you're at in your business, and how we can best support you. So let me jump back. Like I said, for those of you guys who are hopping on, let us know if you're jumping in live. Let us know if you're jumping the replay or where you're watching from, and introduce yourselves. Again, I am Krissy Ferreira. I am a business mentor. I work with women to turn their side hustle into a six-figure brand. I was able to grow my business to 100K in revenue in 2.5 years, and now my mission is to help women do it in 12 months or less. Today, I have the powerhouse Natalie Bullen here with me. Natalie, you are on mute, just so you know, just in case you did want to chime in. But I have Natalie here with me. She is a wealth strategist, and I have known her for a couple years now. Many of you who are from Natalie's world probably know her from Clubhouse, know her on Facebook. She is definitely someone who I think a lot of people know the name, because she definitely stands out, and she has a very powerful voice. And you guys who've never even heard of Natalie are going to know that today you're going to learn something, you're going to be empowered, and she's going to make money and wealth really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Natalie. Natalie, if you can introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, who you serve, how you got into what you're doing, and what we're going to be talking about today.
OMG, I'm so excited to be here. I am Nat Bullen. I own Unapologetic Wealth. And as Krissy mentioned, I'm all things money and wealth mindset. I started off in a really interesting way. I come from the world of banking. I've got securities licenses that no one cares about. And I think I realized maybe I'm too much of a character to rebalance portfolios. Like, I just don't think anyone sees me in that light. And I stopped seeing myself as a financial advisor. So I gave it all up. I decided to move into entrepreneurship. And something people maybe don't know, I started as a finance coach. I started as a money coach. I started as a financial planner. I really wanted to help people retire, and I couldn't sell it. I couldn't get people into the conversion events. I couldn't get people interested. And me being me, I went and got feedback and learned that people didn't have the money. People were like, well, Natalie, I would love to come to your retirement series, but I don't have any money to invest in the stock market. And I'm like, well, why don't you have any money? Oh, because I don't really have any clients. And I'm like, oh, you got a sales problem. Got it. So I revamped my business. And I mean, it all starts with the mindset. So I'm so excited for us to talk today about how you cultivate that champion mindset, because having a sales system is great. Having a sales process is wonderful, but it starts in your brain. If you're defeated at the onset of a call, if people book calls with you and you feel like they're not going to buy, then it doesn't really matter what system I implement for you. It's not going to work out. So I am happy to be here to talk through how you can start making more money in your business without running yourself ragged, because hustle culture is dead, and why it's important for you to have someone who has some kind of financial savvy if you are going to be talking with them about money.
Yes, I love it. And let me just say real quick, you guys, this is Cash Creation Week from my audience. So, of course, I had to bring Natalie on this week. That was all intentional. So, I know you guys are all about tell me, how can I make more money in my business? At the end of the day, we all have our reasons for why we grow a business, but for growing our business. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why you started a business and not a nonprofit. You know what I mean? So you're here to make money. You're here to build wealth. So let's jump into that champion mindset. What do you mean exactly when you say champion mindset, and why is that important?
To me, having a champion mindset all comes down to resilience. So, entrepreneurship is challenging. Sales, if you have never been trained, can be daunting. And I'll meet people who are already defeated, who are already feeling, no one wants to buy my thing, no one's going to pay this price. And so they've already psyched themselves out of powerful profit. It's not really possible to outperform your expectation of yourself, not on a consistent basis. Every so often, you might surprise yourself and do better than you had thought. But in general, we perform at our level of expectation. So if your level of expectation is that it takes 3 years for your business to be profitable, then that's what you will manifest, a business that takes 3 years to be profitable. How many of us have heard that? Even the IRS will say, well, if you don't make a profit first year, it's okay. We understand. I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why I would leave my corporate job and then spend 3 years trying to get back to that point. I do not understand that. And I think that is what makes the difference between people who come out the gates making money, making an impact, getting the market research done, and people who trip over themselves with perfectionism and overthink and underprice. It's all really closely related to your mindset. So being in that champion mindset says, my offer is superior. I'm the shit.
Yep.
People are interested in what I have to buy. I am the best obvious solution for my client. My offer is clear. It is priced in such a way that's going to attract the right people to me, and they're going to pay it. They're going to want to pay it, and it's going to allow me to do a good job. And if people say no, they're not saying no to me personally. And if people don't pay, they're not jerking me around, right? But it's taking responsibility for the things you can do, the activity, without getting bent out of shape if sometimes your results aren't in alignment. And that's what that champion mindset is. You can't just quit because something doesn't go your way. Every single day, something happens in entrepreneurship that I don't like. But you can't just say, well, I DM'd 10 people today and none of those 10 people bought, so I'm not going to DM 10 people tomorrow. I'm going to double down. I might DM 20 people tomorrow then, right? That's how my story of the 42 DMs happened. That's how many DMs it took for me to close the sale. Mm-hmm. I didn't just say the first 5 didn't work, so let me quit. So having that champion mindset is I'm going to succeed no matter what, and letting the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I think you brought up, I can say a bunch of things, but a couple different points is, first of all, what is a champion? You know what I mean? You guys think about, like, when I think of champion, I think of an athlete. You know what I mean? And when you think of athletes, they had to work really hard to get where they are. And how many times, I think it was Tom Brady was one of the, if you guys are New England, because I live in New England, so of course I'm going to bring up Tom Brady, Patriots, right? Well, he ain't with us anymore, but we ain't going to talk about that. But Tom Brady, if memory serves me right, he was actually one of the last picked at the draft, NFL, and he's the GOAT when it comes to, football and, from a New England standpoint. But it took time, lots of rejection, lots of no's, right? Serena Williams, oh my God, like there's so many incredible athletes that have heard no and have gone through how many injuries have they had to get before they actually, got to where they want to be. Getting to the Olympics is, how many times have you been told no, Yeah. And I think that that's what people forget sometimes when it comes to growing a business, that it's not easy. If it was easy, we'd all work for ourselves. You know what I mean? And honestly, this is, a lot of people would disagree with me, but I actually don't think that everyone can be a business owner, because a lot of us, I think, expect things to come to us a little bit too easily. And growing a business is not easy. You have to work for it. You said hustle culture is dead. I completely agree with you. You don't have to burn yourself to the ground and wake up at 5 a.m. to get it done, but you still need to get it done, whether you do it at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning. Over here, Natalie, what time is it over there? 9:14 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're over here doing an interview at 9:14 in the morning. You're getting it done. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
could have said, "Oh man, I don't want to start my day till 12 o'clock." You're still getting it done. That's one thing, is that it doesn't come easily. Number two is that I think that a lot of people, we become in this comparison game where, we start comparing ourselves to people that we admire. We put people on a pedestal and we think to ourselves, okay, and I'm guilty of this time and time again. I have been guilty of this. You look at somebody, you look at their level of success, right? You look at them as up here, you look at yourself as down here. I can do no better than this person, is what you say to yourself. It took her 7 years to hit her first 6-figure mark. There's no way I'm going to do that. Hell no, that's not true. One of the things that Jay-Z, I was watching an interview with, if you guys haven't seen Heart to Heart with Kevin Hart, I love that show. And one of the interviews for season 2 was with Jay-Z. And one of the things that he does is he wants to teach people how to do what he's done, but in half the time. That's what he tries to do, is to educate people.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. And that's the whole purpose of mentorship and coaches and strategists, is that we're going to teach you how to do what we did, right? And obviously we can do it in a unique way for your business, but we want to teach you how to do it more efficiently, to not make the mistakes that we made. That's what a mentor is all about. It's not about perfection. It's about, let me show you how to do this, but faster, or without all the struggle that I went through. I paid all these mentors to do this, and I went through all the struggles. Let me teach you how to avoid all that, so you don't have to do it all on your own. And I think the whole comparison game is, that's not true. Just because it took someone 7 years doesn't mean it has to take you 7 years. If you watch Shark Tank, I think that sometimes it can be inspiring, but it can also be debilitating for some people, because when you listen to Shark Tank, these people didn't make any profits for their first year or two in business. They basically lived in a garage, and that's the kind of stereotypical business life story, but that doesn't always have to be true.
No. And comparison is the thief of joy. I don't know what you've been through to make a determination that I deserve what you have at the point that you got it. Mm-hmm. So that's what's always weird when people try to compare. I don't know enough about anybody. Maybe my mother, maybe my brother, seriously, I don't know enough about people to be able to say with certainty, I deserve what they have. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they've been through. So I've always thought that was weird. I don't have your gifts. I don't have I just don't. And so I think when people go, okay, well, this person's done this, I could never do this. It's like, why have you given away your agency? Yeah. You're powering yourself and giving that power over to somebody else. Like, what makes their opinion or their business better than yours? And maybe I just have too much ego, but I feel like I can have whatever I want to have. I just could never see myself tethering my amount of success to other people, but it happens. I had a client like that. She was, when we first started working here, she was a sleep consultant, a pediatric, for babies. She sleep trained babies.
Oh yeah, yep.
She didn't want to charge more than her mentor, like the person who got her into the training game. And I can't remember what this person charged, but it wasn't enough for my client to be profitable and quit her job. And I was like, why are you tethering your prices to someone who's married to a different man, lives in a different state, has different retirement accounts? Maybe she don't have no goals. Maybe she don't want to be rich. You telling me you want to be rich, but then you're also telling me you can't charge more than your mentor. Then why did you pay me? So I think it's interesting what people will do in the name of comparison. Well, I couldn't charge more than her. She's better than me. Says who? Has she ever tried to sleep train your baby? For all you know, she sucks. Well, you don't say that. It's true. You don't know. She's never done the service. You know her as a peer. You don't really know people till you pay them. So yeah. I think comparison is something we should just throw away. It's okay to be and I admire people when I go on Shark Tank. I don't feel that pang of jealousy, but if I did, I would turn away. And I have unfollowed people who I felt were always perfectly rich all the time and always doing well and everything was great. I'm like, you know what, this is a little too curated a feed for me. Let me just unfriend them. If I didn't feel good watching their content, I just stopped watching it. I think that would be easier than what some people do.
You know how many times I've followed and unfollowed and followed and unfollowed people, because if people are going to trigger you, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes triggering can be a good thing, but sometimes when you get in that comparing phase, or when it's a halt, bringing you to a halt and you can't move forward, then you need to unfollow that person, because sometimes we're human and we can't help but compare ourselves. Or if they're their biggest attribute is like what we consider to be our biggest weakness, it can be really hard to kind of get out of that that feeling of like self-doubt. I do want to jump into one of the things that you were saying about because I love talking about authority building, position yourself as an expert, and you talked about that whole confidence piece and saying I'm the best at what I do, right? And one of the prompts that I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into Cash Creation Week. One of the prompts, one of the challenges I gave to the women in Cash Creation Week this week on Monday was, I want you to create a post today explaining why you are the best at what you do, right? And automatically people gave me pushback, right? They, and when they were creating their posts, I gave some feedback because we have a private community, and people were like avoiding like saying the words that they really needed to say to say that they are the best. And I say to myself, are you avoiding it because you're afraid of being cocky, or you're afraid of coming off as too conceited? Or is it, do you not believe you're the best, right? So those are two different things. There's the mindset piece, and then there's also, let's work on your business to make sure that you are as good as you say you are, because we want to live with integrity, right?
But see, a lot of people really don't strive to, when you say you're the best, you're saying that other people are not by comparison. And that's what people don't want to do. They do not want to come out and say, I am the best, because they feel like, it is a challenge or an insult to other people. And what I keep trying to get people to understand, if you are in your lane, you can be the singular person in your lane, thereby making you the best, right? And so that's why I tell people, especially with their pricing, all the competition's at the bottom, all of it. So if you'll coach people for $199 a month, then you're damn right it's going to be hard for you to assert yourself as the best, because there's tens of thousands of programs that are $199 a month. So it would be hard to climb over all of them to become the superlative. But I have a mentor that charges $50,000 for a VIP day. Well, damn it, she probably can't assert that she's the best at whatever she does in that $50,000 VIP day, because how many people got $50K to try out 3-4 people at that price point? They'll never know if there's a better option, will they? Because they're probably not buying other options. So I tell people, look, position yourself to where people aren't price shopping you, where you become the obvious solution to their problem. You just leap out at them. And pricing is one of the easiest things you can do to help create additional perceived value in your offer and attract a premium buyer. That, and not trying to do what everyone else does. Like people, Natalie's a sales coach. That's cool. But me and you both know, in the real world, I work more with people's mindset, because until you believe, until you can get out there and say it with your chest, hey, you give me 20K, it's safe with me, you're going to get results. You're always going to stumble on sales calls. You're always going to struggle with making offers. You're always going to undercharge. You're going to think 10K, but you're going to say 5K out of your mouth because you can't get that alignment. And that's what's really important. But there's nothing wrong with coming out and saying, I'm the best. It's outside of the scope of today's call, but humility is robbing women of tens of thousands of dollars a month. We are just so damn humble, and we just want to be meek, and we just want to tell people, if you don't mind talking to me later, I'll always be here. I'm here when you're ready. And I'm like, you're allowing your client to sit in indecision, and they're hiring someone more decisive. Let me tell you, while you're sitting around telling people you're around whenever they're ready, they're hiring somebody else. They're hiring somebody who pushed them into their highest level of themselves and coached them into a decision on the call.
What makes me think about is like political candidates, right? And I am not a super political person.
I'm apolitical.
But what'd you say?
I am apolitical.
Okay. Well, so like yesterday was the voting here, right? And so in Rhode Island, and I was thinking about I went to a leadership conference last week, and we had the mayor of Providence, which is our capital here in Rhode Island. And, I was thinking about, when people run for mayor, when they run for city council, whatever it is they're running for, is that it does not matter if the other candidate is more qualified than them, is that they have to show up and show us all why they are the person to vote for, why they are the best option, regardless of
anything. They're great at it.
Basically,
they're great at it. But that's a skill we could all kind of use, being able to stand up at a podium with 10 other people and assert why we are the best. A political debate is probably the best place for people to go to learn some self-confidence, because baby, we have some candidates with no skill at all.
Well, and think about it, while your opponents, everyone's holding your opponent's name on a sign, you have to sit there and talk about why you're the best.
Could you imagine being like the number, like 9 out of 10? Like,
talk about rejection.
Being like this no name from Alaska that like nobody knew. You're like, hey, you've never heard of me before. I'm like, but I am your best solution. I might not make it on the ballot, but damn it, I am the best option for you.
I'm telling you, it takes. I don't know if I could ever do that, but it's you're right. I think watching a debate could be a really great source of educating people how to really show up as and position themselves as an expert.
I'm argumentative enough to be a politician. I'm confident enough to be a politician. I'm not willing to lie well enough to be a politician. There is my problem. Like, here's the thing, when they come up and they go, Mr. Candidate, how do you feel about polarizing issue? And they give like that vague non-answer. I would just tell the truth. I'd be like, girl, if you want to get that abortion, go for it. I just don't think I could hide well enough. And I think because of my personality, people be like, yeah, no, we're not going to vote for that.
Well, the biggest thing I will say, and we can kind of jump into the next topic after this, but I think the biggest thing to understand is that when you say you're the best, right, there are things to back you up. You don't just start like a coaching mentorship and just automatically say you're the best. Obviously, we're talking about people who have had clients, who've gotten their clients results, right? These are things that back you up. But also, like, one of the things that I said, if anybody goes to my Facebook page, scroll down to, I think it was Monday, I posted about why I'm the best. And the first reason why I said I am the best is because my clients tell me so. Right. My clients tell me so. Or I seen anybody do it the way that I do it? No. Or just because I am. And confidence is not cocky. I don't know at what point in our lives we were told to like the whole sit down and shut up type of mentality for women.
3, 4, 5 years old.
Early. My son is 3.5 years old. He has so much confidence. This kid will dance anywhere, say hi to anyone. Like, he's obsessed with this Gummy Bear song, and he will just say, come on, mama, let's go. And he wants to dance everywhere, right? All the confidence in the world. And it makes me sad because I know someday that someone's going to say something to him that's going to diminish some of his confidence. And it's hard as a parent.
But you'll be able to put it back in him. Like, as much as you think I talk right now, maybe multiply that times 10. And you have Natalie as a child, okay? Mm-hmm. People told me to shut up my whole life. Teachers, principals, and guess what? My mom was like, baby, if you want to talk, you go talk. So don't worry about somebody beating the confidence emotionally out of your child. It's my mom who had my back, who turned me into this person, not the world. She didn't let the world be her child down. She made sure every single day she reaffirmed me to be who I was. As long as you keep reaffirming, then he'll be 30 and he'll still be super confident.
I hope so. And I one thing is like, and this is just not even just for your children, but for your nieces and, your nephews, like they're always watching. And it's like, we'll tell our nieces and nephews to be confident to do this. But when it comes to ourselves, it's a whole different ballgame. But they're watching and they're taking it in.
We're trained differently. Women are trained differently by society. When people say men and women are different, biologically, sure, whatever. Hormone-wise, fine. We are trained differently. My mother treated me and my brother differently, regardless of whether she wants to admit it or not. So there's already from the beginning, men are taught to talk their shit and women are taught to sit down and be quiet. There's a difference. And I've seen it firsthand. I'm sure you have too. That's why I tell people there's no benefit in being humble. Go look up the word humble when we get off this call. It's not pleasant. It's very self-depreciating. It's literally like having a lowly opinion of yourself. Like, it's not a positive thing and it doesn't empower anybody. If you're afraid to sell me something, I'm afraid to buy it from you. So if you don't feel confident enough to tell me the features and benefits and how it's going to solve my problem, I'm going to hire someone else. And I have passed over service providers, not because I didn't think they could do the job, but because they seem nervous in making an offer. And I'm like, wait, if you're afraid to make the offer, maybe something is wrong with the product. And like, that's probably not true. But if you're nervous, I'm nervous. You're going to pass that baton over to your client every time. And it's people fumbling $10,000, $20,000 bags because they are trying to be humble and shrink themselves to fit society. Society was not designed to make women rich. So if you're a woman who wants to be rich, you're already operating outside of the confines of society. So you might well just put down what society told you to do because you're not doing what society wanted you to have anyway. I mean, they rolled back our rights. I mean, we're basically in 1950 right now. It's crazy. So there's really no way you could believe I'm going to get wealthy as a woman and I'm going to operate within the confines of society. You can't believe both of those things.
Yep. And you know what's funny is when you go back to the whole men and women thing is, and I love this conversation. I told Natalie, like, at the beginning of this conversation is just going to go how it goes. We had a topic in mind, but this topic is obviously the topic that we needed to talk about because obviously you guys are engaged with this. And, you know, it's important because, you know, yes, you're a sales expert, but have we really talked about sales? No, because the mindset piece is so important before you even try to go further. I think with the whole men and women thing is that women, we tend to be, right? And this is not me being sexist. This is me being like from experience from working with dozens and dozens of women, is that we are very emotional when it comes to our decision making, when it comes to investing. Men tend to be more logical. I had a client of mine, her husband asked if he could be on one of the coaching calls. And I'm like, absolutely, right? Because he wanted to be a little bit more involved in her business. And he was starting to take her business a little more seriously, you know, because she was making more money because she was working with me. Cool. And so he, and it was very exciting because her husband was actually, had recently ran for some type of election for something in their town. I don't remember what it was, council or something. Yeah. And so he was a very professional, very kind of intimidating male, right? To be honest with you, but he was very, he got on the call and I just loved the questions that he asked because they were very logical. It was very, tell me what to do. There was no emotional piece. There was no, oh my God, I don't think I can handle that. It was just, okay, tell me what to do. Okay. And, you know, very logical, very, you know, explain it to me how I can understand it and how I can implement it. Yeah. And, you know, it made me kind of want to start working with men because I'm like, okay, you know,
it's a different experience. I've coached men. It's a different ballpark, but it's not to say men don't have issues. Cause I made a post about imposter syndrome because I'd never met a man who'd ever said I had imposter syndrome, and I'd never met an imposter syndrome coach that served men. So I was like, is this like something made up that we just pushed on women? And I had men on that post that went, I felt these feelings, I just didn't know what it was called. So I won't say men don't have any of those things, but like you said, they are more trained to be rational and to say, okay, let me take this situation in and assess it from a data standpoint instead of let me fall to pieces. Like me and my husband watch cooking shows and the women will fall apart in the kitchen. They'll just sob and cry in the freezer and we never see the men do it. And we've watched thousands of episodes, Chopped, MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen. We watch everything, Restaurant Impossible, literally hundreds of thousands of episodes. We never see the men break down. So I'm like, this is training. Someone is saying, if you are overwhelmed, here's what you do. You cry in the kitchen until Gordon Ramsay screams at you. And men are more likely to like act out in other ways, like fight over the knives, right? Like there's different coping mechanisms. I just wish that, like you said, we would decide, hey, you know what? My business has to make it. And so whatever I need to do to make it work, I'm just going to try instead of I'm going to shut down before I've even tried it. Because I know you've run into stuff like that where you say, hey, go do this thing. And the women are like, oh, no, I can't do that thing. No, I'm not sure about that. And it's like, try it first. Go online, say you're the best and see what happens. I might do that today.
Yeah, there you go. You can take my challenge and go with it because it's definitely a nerve-wracking thing, I think, for some people when they go to do it. But the more you do it, it's like a muscle. The more you train your muscle, the easier it gets. And the more you say it, the more you believe it, right? It's like when I got on this, when I started this thing, what did I say? I said, hey, I'm Krissy Ferreira. I'm the person that you're going to go to turn your side hustle into a 6-figure brand. When I first started saying that, when I first started helping women do that, there was a little bit of hesitation in my voice. But I've said it hundreds of times, right? To where it just flows off my tongue.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's natural now. But that's what people don't get. You don't feel confidence first and then do the thing. You do the thing and then it begets the confidence. So like you started doing the thing. That's how you get more confident. People go, Natalie, I want to be confident. Then start doing the thing. I wasn't always confident as a speaker, but after 100 speaking engagements, eventually you figure it out. Like you have to do the thing first and make it low stakes for yourself. But I mean, I don't like the sound of my voice, and I've done over 8,000 hours on Clubhouse.
I don't like the sound
of my voice. Right, but I'm saying like I don't let that stop me. And I actually I'm going to hire like a speech coach to do something about it. But don't limit yourself and say I can't do that. And it's like, how do you know what you can and can't do if you haven't tried to do it? Oh, look at that. We got some challenge accepted. I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
We're going to have some superlatives. I'm talking trash. I probably did that like yesterday. Like, oh,
I love it.
Like, I'm the best. It's me.
And you know what, guys, own it, ladies. It's so empowering because here's the thing: there are people watching you, right? Like, and this is one of the last things we'll say, and we'll kind of get into, kind of wrap this up because we've been on here for a little bit. But I love it because the conversation is hot. But there are people who, where you're doubting yourself. There are people looking at you like in awe. You know what I mean? And it still blows my mind. There are things, we're not perfect. Even if you get on stage and you feel confident, you can still be sweating. I still get nervous sometimes before like I meet a new person, especially if it's like, if I'm really excited to work with somebody, like if they apply and I'm like, yes, I cannot wait to work with this person. I cannot wait. I do get nervous because it's out of excitement, right? But I still sweat sometimes. Like that's just me. And before a networking event, I have to do a lot of mindset work before I go. I have to like really amp myself up and tell myself I'm a bad bitch in the mirror. Like I've got to do all that, right? But the thing is somebody is watching you and admiring you. And when you do things like this, you say, I'm the best, right? Look at all the people that are watching this, whether you're in my audience or Natalie's audience, they're like, challenge accepted, right? Yeah. Because they admire you. So now that you're doing it, so now they're going to do it. And that's a beautiful thing to watch because you are, as a leader, we have to pave the way. We have to do the things that people aren't willing to do. And if you are truly a leader, you're going to overcome all the fear. You're not going to let fear get in your way, and you're going to do it. And you're going to do it over and over again until you perfect it. And then something else is going to come up that's scary and nerve-wracking, and you got to perfect that. Entrepreneur you're always growing.
It's always an up level. If you're not running into new fears, you're not growing enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that right there, say that one more time. And I think we'll kind of close out with that statement right there.
No, that's it. Like if you're not facing new fears, you're not growing enough. You've gotten too comfortable. You have stagnated. Like you should always be bumping up against it. Damn, another level? Okay, let's get it. Like, let me see what support I need to be able to move myself that next step. And, before we wrap up, one thing you mentioned that was powerful is as a leader, I don't think people recognize that as entrepreneurs, they are leaders. Yes. And so you are actually showing people what is okay. Part of why I raise my prices, I know me and you had talked about this, is because it challenges our clients to do the same. Once you pay me 10, 15, 20K, you're all in. You really don't have an opportunity to say, you know what? If this works with Nat, great. If it doesn't, great. No, you're a little too invested for that. You're like, damn it, whatever she tell me to do, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. If I gotta wake up at 6 a.m, if I gotta do reels, if I gotta point dance, if I gotta wear tattoo, whatever, right? My clients don't come with that BS no more. They like, all right, Nat, it's 7 a.m. I know you still sleep, but I'm checking in. Let me tell you what I did yesterday. Like, they're accountable, and they raise their prices because they're like, wait, I paid Nat all this money. I deserve money too. I'm going to get my money back. I'm going to listen. And so it's a ripple effect. When you don't charge enough, when you don't stand in your authority, when you don't talk your talk, when you don't make it obvious that you are the best solution to people's expensive and expansive problem, meaning it's a problem that's costing them money, and it's a problem that's getting bigger every day that they don't fix it, then you're holding the entire industry back. And you see it with creatives, you see it with coaches. They undercharge and they create this ripple effect where everybody in their industry, right? All of their clients charge too little. It's like, take a step back. You are the role model. You can't lead from the back. You got to lead from the front. You got to make sure that what you're putting out there is going to empower your people to do better, not allow them to be stagnant because you're scared. You're afraid to put a zero on your price. That's cool. Do it anyway. And that's what has worked for me. And once you get it out your mouth one time, it's like, okay, that's my price now. Cool. You just need to say it one time.
And then once you get paid that amount, you don't want to go back.
No, you never go back. You never. That sucks. And it feels unethical. Imagine if I went up to 10K, got 10K, and then backslid to 7,500, and my 10K client found out that the next person paid less. How would you even be able to justify that? Oh, I'm sorry, girl, my imposter syndrome got the best of me, and that's wrong. Like, you can have a lawsuit. Like, that's some bullshit. I mean, to sue somebody. Like, wait a minute, your imposter syndrome made you overcharge me $2,500? No, you need to run me my money. So that to me is like, you're out of integrity once you start And that's the worst thing you could do is use your prices like an elevator, like an escalator, just go up and down. You know, day to day, you don't know what you charge. It's like you're training people that you're a flea market, that you're a haggler, that people can negotiate your price. If that's not what it is, then that's not what it is. Stand firm and say, you know what, this is what it costs. And if people say they won't pay it, that's a reflection of them and maybe a reflection of your marketing tactics. But it's not, I tried. I get that all the time. Natalie, I tried to raise my price, but it didn't work. I'm always baffled by this. I'm like, what do you mean it didn't work? You mean people didn't buy? Oh, that we can fix. But like, did you not get it out your mouth? Like, what do you mean it didn't work? And it's interesting that when people put an offer that doesn't sell, the first thing they think that's wrong is the price. That's the first thing they do is lower the price. And I'm like, why didn't you improve your messaging? Why didn't you tap your affiliates? Well, there's 20 things you could do before let me just drop the price. That doesn't make it more exciting. If Gucci, there's this bag I've been looking at forever. I'm probably not gonna buy it. I'm cheap, but there's this Gucci bag that's like $39.50. I sent it to Tarek. I was like, tell me how to buy in this bag. If Gucci lowered the price down to like $1,000, I wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
Like, damn. I'd be like, man, now I gotta get the pity bag. Now I gotta wait for it to go on sale. Now I want the full price bag. Like I'm looking forward to the day where I could spend that kind of money on a purse and it not be like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to pay full price for that bag because I didn't grow up paying full price for stuff. I grew up waiting on stuff to go on sale. Yeah. So I want to be able to buy that full price thing. So we think, oh, let me make it cheaper. That'll make people want it more. Not the right kind of people. I don't want it cheaper. I want to be able to pay full price. Having prestige pricing is a marketing strategy. So I don't know. I feel like there's so much misinformation out there. That's why I think what you do is so powerful. Because until people really step into their authority, it doesn't matter what kind of sales skills I teach them. They're not going to get leads. And if they do, they're going to be convincing their leads. And I like my leads to come to me pre-sold. I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah, because I mean then you're having to sit there and like sell yourself to the person.
It's like, well, let me tell you who I am since you don't know me at all, and let me show you some receipts, and girl, bye. Ain't nobody doing that on no sales call. I'm not.
I will say one last thing. I created a post the other day, and it kind of made me think of what you talked about the Gucci bag. Was if your hairdresser if you saw a hairdresser charging $50 to get like a balayage, which is normally like $200, would you say, oh, that's a good deal? Or what would you do? I would be like, oh, heck no, I'm not going to this person.
I'm not risking that. My hair with color, I have chemical relaxer, ma'am. Okay, anybody who do color on relaxed hair gotta be like the color whiz. Like, I need somebody who on top, because you're not gonna have no hair left. And that's what I mean. Like people say, oh, I'm gonna lower my price, but I'm like, do you understand that by lowering price on a service you claim is premium, you're out of alignment with your audience? You're telling them something they know is not true. Everybody with sense know that balayage is hundreds of dollars. It's time consuming. It's a very specific color technique. My hair has never been permanently covered. Even I know balayage ain't $50. So like, I'm not looking at that thinking that's a good deal. I'm looking at that thinking that woman's not licensed. And I'm going to be bald.
Yep, exactly. All right. So we're going to bring this to a close. We've had an amazing conversation. We could talk for hours on mindset because, I mean, this is what you do, Natalie. So for those of you guys who have never met Natalie, if you're interested, finding more about being in her world, how can people find you online? I'm going to be dropping all of her links. So you don't sit there and Google it while she's talking. I'll drop them all in the links for you guys. Tell people how they can find you and how can they work with you right now.
Yeah, so you can go to my beautiful new website, nataliebullen.com. It is stunning.
It is beautiful.
I am the most proud. It's like having a baby. I'm like, look at my site. So you can go there. You can find about my VIP day. I do have one spot left for sales and mindset coaching for the year, and then I'll be wrapping that up. So excited because I'm taking December off, baby. Hustle culture is dead. And then I have my inner circle membership, which is amazing. Krissy's a part of it. It is a great place to go if you are looking for not only camaraderie, but for people who also want to make money. So I left a membership where you couldn't sell. You couldn't talk to other people about your offer. You couldn't network with them. They didn't want your friend requesting the people in the group. It was very dictatorship, and I just don't like that. So if you want to get into a community where it's perfectly fine to say you have an offer, it's great to meet with other people, do things like this live, do joint ventures, and actually go make some damn money, like men have been trained to do. That's what they do. They create these conglomerates and they have these think tanks and they have country clubs and that's what this is, right? It's like our own little entrepreneur country club. I like that. I might use that as a tagline. So we'll drop the links. If you want to apply for the membership, I'd love to have you. If you really want a fun sales process, most people don't have any kind of repeatable framework that they can implement in their business. I love selling because it's easy now, right? I know how to prospect. I know how to nurture leads if they need nurturing. I know how to make offers and I know how to close people. And if you don't have a system that is always attracting leads, always qualifying and pulling those people onto calls, and then if you don't have the skill to close them on calls, you're always in this feast and famine. And so if you are ready to get off the feast and famine hamster wheel, raise your prices, and feel really damn good about the way that you sell to people, feel free to go on my website. I'd love to have you. You can shoot a little application. I'll make sure you're a good fit, and then you'll be in my clutches.
I love it. I will say one thing about her inner circle is that one thing is it's amazing to be surrounded by other people who want to see you succeed, because you know, in the marketing world, you know, social media world, it always can feel like a little bit of a competition. And so this right here is there's no competition, and it doesn't matter if you do the same thing as the other person. Like there's room at the table for all of us to eat, and that's how I felt in your community. And everyone in there is making money because you got to pay to be a part of it. So you're not around a bunch of people who, you know, just started their business, which is also really exciting. So definitely check that out.
I feel like there's a lot of spaces like that already that's just free for alls. It's a free group. It's 3,000 people in it. And every 20 minutes, there's a post that says, hey, I just created a guide that solves all the problems in your business. Do you want it before I make it $7? Like, it's played out. We got it.
Every Facebook group ever.
Every Facebook group ever. I'm like, no, I don't want it before you make it $7. No, keep your tripwire in peace, boo. I don't want it.
No, I love it. And honestly, you guys, it's I don't have time for that. I don't have time anymore. When I was new, I had time to be in all these. I don't have time. So like being more intentional with the connections that you're making online is really powerful. So thank you so much, Natalie, for jumping on here today. The conversation was hot. For those of you guys watching the replay, give a drop like your biggest nugget from today, the biggest takeaway from today. Let us know if you're up for the challenge that we were talking about earlier. Do the challenge. If you want to join Cash Creation Week,
hashtag the best challenge.
Yes. If you're up for the challenge and you want more prompts, feel free to join my Cash Creation Week. It is still going on right now. And again, thank you, Natalie. I'm gonna drop all of her links in the comments so you guys can go check her out, follow her, and work with her and reach out if you guys have any questions. So thank you again, Natalie. Until next time, guys. Bye.